The following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
Welcome to the Bombadcast.
What is going on, everybody? It is me, not Jerry, Scotty J-Ro with the Bombadcast. Hope everyone's doing great. And you know what I just realized? It is the final episode of this year. What a wild year it's been. I mean, Jerry and I will probably go over some big things that's happened, but the biggest thing was joining this amazing network. Yes, I'm talking about the Beyond the Blast Doors network. What's going on up there?
Network.
I like it. So, if you've listened to us, if this is your first time, well, welcome. We're going GaGa for Grogu today.
Grogu.
Yep. Look at this. GaGa for Grogu. And I'm very excited and happy to say that at this network, if you enjoy us, man, we've got other great things in store. We got Around the Galaxy podcast with Pete Fletzer, kind of like a one-on-one talk show.
Fletzer.
Yeah. Whoa. What's happening? That he is an amazing interview, right? We've also got Holo Chronicles with Josh and Andy.
Josh and Andy.
Great guys. They talk about collecting, all things collecting, everything new in merchandise, and that leads us to the final one, Beyond the Blasters Live, every Wednesday, www.com. So, Beyond the Blasters, all of this can be found at beyondtheblastdoors.com, right? And if you like us, the Beyond the Blasters Network, you can support us at Patreon. Yes, we've got a Patreon. $5 a month will get you access to all kinds of goodies, okay? All kinds of exclusive shows, announcements, and even one-on-one discussions with the creators of the Bombadcast or anything in the Beyond the Blast Doors network, right? So, I'm very happy. I'm always schmitten to say that I've got a great co-host, and he's been my reverb machine since this episode started. And that is the one, the only, Cannon Jucky himself. That's right, my very good friend, Jerry the Cannon Cable.
Jerry the Cannon. Hey,
Gerald.
McClunky.
Gerald. Okay, we'll bring it up. We'll bring it up later. But Jerry.
Scottled. Yes.
Last episode of 2020, man. Do you have a favorite memory of this show from 2020? Because we had some good stuff go on.
I honestly think that Jared the Dark Jedi's Great Trial might be at least memorable, if anything. Because it started a bit that is like it's almost on the level of excuse me. I've been drinking something that's very fizzy. It's not a Bombadcast episode if I don't burp, apparently.
It's like the EOP fart.
It just happens. Yeah, you know.
It's not the Phantom Menace, you'll hear a fart joke.
I'm a regular, George, poetry rhymes, yeah. I don't know. It started like a bit that to me is akin to every time that Paul Rudd goes on Conan O'Brien.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And shows that clip from Mac and Me of the main character, the kid, going down that hill in a wheelchair. It's better when you don't know what it's from.
Yes.
Because it is the most random ass clip in the whole world. And here it is just It's
literally
amazing.
Ant-Man 1, and he was like, I've got this exclusive clip from Ant-Man 1, and I believe Conan is convinced it's going to be a clip, and then every time it's just that same thing. The little guy pops up.
Yeah.
And then like,
Mac. By the way, fantastic. They canceled it on Netflix, but they did Mystery Science Theater 3000, like a reboot and stuff.
Yeah,
and they did Mac and Me. That is one of the best episodes of the new Mystery Science Theater 3000. Scotty, we should do like a watch along or something. Maybe we can get something going for the patrons, man, or something. Who knows?
Maybe.
Ooh, sizzle, sizzle. We'll have to see.
I like it, Jerry. I thought your answer would be the Bombad 50th episode. That's what I thought it was, because that was when we did the
sorry, I think
thing.
I didn't read the stuff.
And Paul Stanley did my makeup for that day. God, that was good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
That was great. And
a lot of production value went into that one.
I don't know if you knew this, but Paul showed back up like for the first time in a long time. Paul actually showed back up on streaming Star Wars' call-in show, not the most recent Friday, but the previous Friday before that. And it was crazy. Yeah, it was weird.
I think I actually called in that night too, because I was in Ryan Johnson's garage.
Yes, I remember that.
Trying to find out, because we had gotten all those announcements and stuff, and so I was trying to find out if, Ryan's trilogy was still happening, because people wanted to know. And I am trying to be the scooper of the Bombadcast. Trying. Yeah. That's why I've been gone. I've been on like, I've been hiding in plain sight, dressing up as mailboxes outside of Star Wars creators' houses, and it's not working.
Yeah, I can tell.
But anyway, I don't know how like Noah Outlaw and all those guys do it. Mm-hmm. But kudos to them.
I'll tell you this much.
Cheers to y'all.
This is the last episode of 2020. It's been a year. I'm sorry. So many crazy things have happened, but I'm very happy to say that we were there to help you through all of it, because that's what our job is. It's to help you cope with problems, all right? Not give you any more problems. And with that being said, I want to wish our listeners, because the day this drops is the 26th of December. If you are, a believer in Christmas and the holiday season, well, I hope from Bombadcast to you, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a very happy holidays. Jerry, any Christmas wishes to our listeners who have been listening to us for almost 2 years? Think about that. Almost 2 years, a year and a half.
Sorry is the main thing that comes to mind when I'm thinking about people listening to us for 2 years. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you somehow think that we are entertaining. And guys, hey, Happy Life Day. Happy whatever you celebrate. Happy Life Day. Happy holidays, man. It don't matter. We're all in this together. I'm not going to start singing the song.
No.
But my gosh, can we just bury 2020 underneath like a pile of rubble? Because when you ask me what my favorite part of 2020 is, just in general, Scott, I'm going to pull what the people who think they're slick when they were talking about The Last Jedi, or their favorite part of Last Jedi, and they put the credits. I'm like, the end. The end is my favorite part of 2020 right now. But
the month of December has probably been the best month. That's about it.
It has. I tell you, this seriously, Bombadcast doing this with you, my friend, with my friend Scotty, and then us joining the Beyond the Blast Doors network, which we honestly weren't sure about at first. Like, you remember that? Those early days of going, it was right when the pandemic started.
Not that we even were worried about the people on it. We were just worried about, like, we had a brand we had built, and we were worried that going into a new network would kind of like make the brands meld too much. But what's really interesting, something very different even happened. We found that our brand grew stronger because we could kind of characterize and center what we do. And if you've noticed, we really don't discuss news on this show. And the best part about the network is, and I'm not even trying to plug it right now, is that David does news. And if we want to talk news, all we got to do is message David and say, hey, I want to be on BTBD Live this week and talk news. And what does he usually say? Yes. It's just how it is.
And, he tells you yes. Okay, good. That's good to know. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm just kidding, David. Your Christmas card was lovely, by the way. You and your wife, fantastic cards.
Yes.
Also definitely. From the Flexer family. Got one
I
from the
got one too.
Flexers.
I got one too from the Flexers. No, and
It's a little family we got going here, guys. It's so awesome. That's been my favorite part of this whole year.
It's a family we didn't know we needed, and it's just been so nice. And I don't know.
Oh man, that's the best way to put it, though, Scotty. It's the family we never knew we needed. And again, we were doing good. We wanted to we had turned down some other people. They were like, "Hey, you want to join our network?" And I'm not trying to be like we're people want us and stuff. I'm like, but just we wanted to blaze our own path, right? And because we knew we were niche, we were like an odd duck in kind of all of this. Ask Pete and them how to characterize our show, and they said we don't know really how to characterize what you guys do, but we love it. Yes, which is a great compliment, and also a little bit of what the hell you guys do, but it's entertaining. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that in my entire life.
I think it just brings me to joy that people still tune in and still hang out with us, even though, we might have went a separate path than what a lot of people would have expected. And I'm just really happy. And honestly, I didn't see my favorite thing. My favorite thing from 2020 was getting a chance to interview Mac DeMarco.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That will be such a big moment in my life.
That was huge.
Life. It was so awesome to get a chance. And I mean, you never know. We might have even better guests come on in the near future. I mean, we've been reaching out. We've been making connections. So maybe you'll see. But Jerry, we made a big connection recently, and it was actually a gift from John Shaw. Jerry, maybe kind of plug what this is so I can get it pulled up.
Okay. Well, if you weren't watching our live Christmas special, the call-in special, last Friday, then you might have missed this. This kind of came in, and John Shaw, our buddy, burying the lead, Mr. Ahmed Best. This is a gift from John Shaw, our good buddy. Again, he just announced his cast list today, right, of Tavern Brawl. Yeah, fantastic. Tavern Brawl. Go check. Yep. Well, last week, by the time you're listening to this, last week, but go check out Tavern Brawl and stuff. But John Shaw, fantastic filmmaker, fantastic human being. Got this for our boy Scotty, and frankly, I'm excited about it too, John. Dude. I don't know what I got to do to get a present around here, but probably actually live in the same area and give you presents as well. So,
one thing that's really important is I think John honestly meant this as a gift to both of us because of a particular thing that happened at the
very end. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And that's where I was very like, ooh, I'm in my brain like pull that.
Yeah. And I will say I'm going to give you a hint if I haven't told you this already, and I'll give our listeners a hint too.
Oh,
but more than likely, our next episode, when we record, probably a week from today, Sunday, we are going to be having new intros and new outros. No, the music will be the same. The music will be the same. I will not change that music.
What's going to be different?
Probably a mention of this clip right here. So let's get it
visuals.
Jerry, listen to this. All right. So great moment. I think our listeners are going to love it. For anyone that's listening to audio, you'll still get a lot out of it. But the video is fantastic. Here we go. Make sure the volume's all up.
Scotty, what's happening? So I'm at Best, and I play Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars. And your buddy John wanted me to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy everything to you, sir. All right, man. Stay bomb bad. Peace.
How amazing is that? Let's listen to the ending again.
That is incredible.
He said, "Stay bomb bad."
All right, man. Stay bomb bad. Peace.
Oh,
peace. Just okay. And if you are listening and you haven't, it's Ahmed Best leaning over what I assume is a table in like a study room of like a public library, just like.
No. It looks it's his. It must be his office. One of the reasons I bring it up is
it's his office. Yeah.
He's got like a Fender amp in the background. That I'm like, what kind of amp is he? Does he play guitar or bass? Like what? Had no idea.
Man. See, we got to get him. But you know what I take away from this, Scotty, and you guys should like go on YouTube and just watch that part. Right. That. Excuse me. This is very, very burpy liquid that I'm drinking right now. That he probably won't come on the show now because it's like that guy is too full of gas. I'm not gonna do it. I know. I promise I'll get it cleaned up for that for sure. But he has Bombadcast energy.
Oh, he
Look at
does.
that. The Scotty. That whole just it pays you to look and watch this because the man is just such a treasure.
Yeah.
Because all the fire that he went through back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and up until now, and finally getting the recognition and love he deserves at Celebration 2019, which was I'm so honored that we got to be there for that, right?
That was amazing.
And I'll never forget and I'll shout out to Scott Gibby, our buddy down in Ohio and stuff. Scott Gibson, me and him were walking the floor. I forget what day it was. And we just hear, "Welcome to the Star Wars Show live stage, Ahmed Best." And just like everyone was like, it was a mass like exodus, just a flow of people going from the booths to the middle where the big live stage was. It was incredible. And we were behind him and we could see the back of his head sitting on that couch, made out of those containers and stuff. But he's just such a, oh man, just to be there and like be able to be part of that. Like, yes, we love you. You're a part of Star Wars, and don't listen to the haters, man. Seriously.
No, and
it's just so good.
I think the best thing is how this transitions. Jerry, I don't think you were at the panel, but I was at the Mandalorian panel, and that show, whenever it was announced, obviously at the time of recording, we had just watched the season finale of season 2, and we didn't know what to expect from this show. And now we are here almost 2 years later at the end of season 2. And Jerry, we had gotten some of the most incredible things in this last season. And Bombadcast hasn't really covered it on our main show. We've mostly been going on streaming Star Wars and covering it. But right here, right now, let's talk about it. Jerry, best
do it.
Favorite and most fun of season 2. Now, I don't know if you want to take some time. I can go first. You
probably have yours all in the chamber, right?
My brain's already decided it. Okay.
Go for it.
So my best, favorite, most fun. Okay. The best to me was the most recent episode, and not just because of Luke showing up. It really isn't just because of that.
Sure.
But if you really take it in, they did so many really interesting things in terms of dialogue and in terms of how the scenes and shots were set up. It felt like a heist movie. I mean, Peyton Reed, right? The night before his episode came out, it had been realized that Peyton Reed was directing it. And literally, it was the greatest thing ever. Everyone on Twitter was like, "Oh no, Peyton Reed's directing it." And I'm like, dude, Ant-Man is amazing. Both Ant-Mans are amazing.
Were they going off of the second episode, to which I also have beef with? Just saying.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
The egg lady. I'm the frog lady, but with the eggs.
Frog lady. Egg lady, frog lady. Both work.
The best was the one we got most recently, just because of how it's structured. I mean, the stakes are so high right now, and the payoff was the most incredible payoff we've ever gotten in the Mando. Yeah. And there was just so much time to make sure this episode would work out that well. We knew how much Din cared. I mean, the whole season was about Din finding Mandalorians to find a Jedi, then to find a Jedi, he had to do this. I mean, literally every path was for the child. At no point did he take a job this season. He didn't. Last season, we got him taking several jobs. This is the first time he's not taking a job. And he was
really think about that. Wow.
Yeah. He was just selflessly trying to make sure this child was brought into safety, and he fulfilled his destiny, right? So you got a huge payoff with that episode. That to me is why it's the best. It's just, it had everything you want in a Star Wars. And of course, Luke Skywalker showing up was tremendous. Okay.
So good.
And having Grogu, have his really special moment with R2 was amazing. And Din and Grogu's moment. I mean, literally, I've only watched it once so far because I am going to probably watch it some point this week again. But when he touched his face, you forget in that moment. It's much like how good the puppetry is for Empire Strikes Back. You forget that is an animatronic child, and that is an actor just standing there having that moment, and it sells it every time. It really does, and it was so perfect. So that the best, right?
Yeah.
My favorite, and I actually rewatched it recently, was the chapter 9 where we go and have the crate dragon moment. I think I'll watch that
Oh
one
man.
probably the most for the rest of my life. I love that episode. The way that episode set up, literally the
So
coolest
good.
thing, the cowboy feel, but they even had the Indian cowboy, and they literally did the classic trope. Like it felt like you were watching Rango. They did the trope where he's
A
like,
little bit.
he might even eat the school, and they're like, not the school. I'm like, that is just so dude, how great was that? So you got that episode, and one of the best parts of that episode, strictly from just watching it on TV, because you want to see these things in theaters, and they kind of shoot it like it's a cinematic movie.
Mhm.
But there was one part where the Krayt Dragon finally pops back out, and that aspect ratio widens, and it's like Jurassic Park. It's like full screen Jurassic Park, and like everything is huge. The spitting of the acid.
It felt like IMAX. It felt like IMAX. Like it goes and then it doesn't go back down until he's going away on the speeder bike. Which is good
amazing.
Picks. Good picks.
So favorite, and then my most fun. The most fun's an interesting one. The most fun's a really interesting one because there's almost a tie in my brain. The Ahsoka one was fun, but it depends on how you view fun. It was fun because of the payoff we got as fans, and I'm sure it was fun in a different regard for other people, but maybe that was for me. I was dancing, I was giddy the whole episode, so I guess that's what made it the most fun. I mean, we got so much more about our little friend. That's what we're going gaga for right now. But we also got so much more about the stake of the universe and Thrawn's name being mentioned. Oh, me and Thrawn, we go way back. So it was just perfection. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. Most fun between that one, chapter 13, and chapter 15 when we got Bill Burr's character come back. So that was great.
There's a lot to love in this season. It's hard, and I know what you mean, because that whole episode with Bill Burr.
Oh my God.
I think people were a little like, I can't believe people were, I know we were like, oh man, we're ready for the story to continue, but so many great things came out of that episode. Fully painted Boba.
Yep.
Which is the best Boba, in my opinion now. Sexy Boba, as I call him. Boba.
They'll recognize my face.
Fett,
that was the best.
Boba down to Fett.
What's going on? Dude?
But then you have that whole sequence with him and Din at the table with that Imperial officer that used to be his, who doesn't recognize him. That whole, it's so Tarantino, and that I want that character to come back now. I'm ready for Mayfeld to come back.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't really, I thought he was a coolish character, but I was like, he's all right. And I was like, oh, interesting that they're going for him now. But that whole episode, his commentary is some of the most deep stuff in Star Wars, like Rebellion, Empire, it's all the same to these people. It's just people trespassing on their land. And the whole thing, is it that you can't show your face or you can't take your helmet off because they're different things? Like the questions because we all need to be pushed in our beliefs sometimes, right? We all need to be pushed to make sure that we believe what we believe, and to also make sure that, why is that? It's a very healthy thing to do, is to question what you believe in. And Mando was doing this, what are you? And he says, anyone's got what do you say? Everyone wants to be. What's the quote, Scotty? Where he's like, everyone has their price. Everyone has their rules until things go bad. He says then they'll do whatever they need to.
And then look, that plays out in that episode, and it plays out in the next episode too. You're
gosh!
Right.
But also the whole. What else did he say? Something about how whatever helps you sleep at night, or something, or something about the sleeping at night thing. And then he goes,
when he shoots it, he goes, now I can sleep at night, is when he shot the thing. And he,
I know, I caught that the second or third time. I was like, because he's talking about it's after all that stuff that we just talked about. And he's like, people do what they need to do, and then they do what they can to sleep at night. and stuff. Like those are survivors. And just like the pain in his face. There's so much in that whole episode. So these good picks, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know which one you should pick because those are both great picks.
They're great. And Jerry, what are yours? Because I'm sure you've got some off the top of your head.
Well, so I'm going a little weird. I'm not going just plain episodes. I'm going to be a little more, not nebulous, but a little more pinpoint specific, kind of. Okay. I'm going to go topic. I'm going to go my favorite topics, okay? Because this is such a huge season. So best. I'm probably going to go with the moment here. And if I am... Oh, man. If I have to... This is so hard because there's so many moments in the season. Every episode to me had a moment.
Oh, heck
This is why I'm having so much trouble. There's a moment where it's... I love that. That's so fun. You know, there's I can think of several different episodes that are so fun. Have moments that are absolutely hilarious and fun and whatever. But I think the best moment for me has got to be it is as cliche as it sounds, this is the return of Luke.
Dude. That was
not
so
necessarily
amazing.
Well, and not necessarily just because, and we'll talk a little bit about this probably in the coming weeks and stuff. Not just for the nostalgia, but it was a little like, I mean, I think I was on the record. I don't remember if I was. I have been a little MIA recently. That I didn't necessarily want it to be Luke because I was like, I didn't think it was gonna be Luke.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do it. And people might not like it, and that's pretty big, you know, like it makes sense, but it's like I feel like we're setting up, you know, here's the Star Wars characters. I was like, we had a lot of what's the gentleman's name? Roz, I forget his last name, who was in Haunting of Bly Manor, who's been talking about Ezra recently. Everyone wants him to play Ezra.
Yeah.
Which is a great pick, and I love him. He's a great actor, and yes, please.
Yeah,
I want older grizzled Ezra Bridger, and I thought we were going to get him because he's been talking about it a lot recently. We could have also gotten Cal Kestis, which might have been a little too much. Cal, you know,
we could have gotten Ahsoka, which would have been cool too. She would have showed back. It would have been a nice surprise that he
just to help them.
Himself. Yeah,
but nope, just the moment where I see that it's the lone X-wing, and I'm like, no. Like I think I was saying that it's not. Is it? No way. It's like they didn't. I'm like talking to myself during all this.
Yep.
Yes. The saber
what gave it
itself
away
right
from
there.
me was this. What gave it away?
Oh, the green. Yeah, for sure. Me too. Like as soon as I saw that
black hand with the hilt, I was like, it's done. Because
it's
all you saw was
the
camera. All you saw was the camera and then the hood.
Right.
I'm like, it could be Ahsoka. It could be a different color.
I was thinking it could be Cal because did Cal join with the rebellion or did he get an X-wing or you know? Ezra was already working with the rebellion. Is it him? But I didn't think it was, I don't know. And as soon as it pulled in, they were like, it's not responding. I'm like, that's Luke. And then you see and then it was confirmed, like you said, when you said, because I know we know our hilts, Scotty. Like that's the thing. We're those kind of nerds. We love the hilts. And that was Luke friggin' Skywalker, and I think I said, it's Luke. I think I cursed a whole bunch. I was like, it's Luke effing Skywalker! It's Luke effing Skywalker! And like he's going through the droids and stuff, you know, and it's still a little like, is it? And again, you see the hilt, it is. And then he gets there, and I didn't know what to expect because I'm like, okay, they're just going to keep the hood and stuff and maybe have the voice sound like him. But when he takes his hood off, and it is Mark Hamill from like circa 6 years after 1983 would be like the year I was born, maybe 1987. I don't know, but like I can't do math when I'm not freaking out about Luke Skywalker, and I can't do it right now. But just think about that, like. And I'm telling you, the best part of it, Scotty, was when I watched with my family right before I got on Friday night, okay, for our live show. It was the most excited my dad has been about a Star Wars movie since this new stuff came out. And I haven't got to watch much things with them experience it when they experienced it. But my dad and my mom were telling me, they were like, because this is right after they watched it, I video called them. And my dad was like, I was like, that's Luke. That's Luke.
Yeah.
And stuff. And like my dad, like you again, and thank you to Eric in the live chat of that episode for saying Kevin Cable for president. I'm sure he really appreciated that. But and he did get on to me. He said, "Thanks for throwing me under the bus about all the stuff I was saying about him. I can't hear you under this bus." Is what he said actually, because he has a little more. Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, like it was like so awesome to see my mom and my dad go like be so excited.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That was Luke. It looked like Luke. Like it was him and stuff. Like that was so like how'd they do? Mom was like, how'd they do that? I was like, I don't know. We're gonna find out. But you know, it was just such a great moment. And
great contender for best. I mean, I honestly don't think I have a very strong opinion that most people feel the same exact way because it's something that was built up to things. I don't know. People have been wanting to see that, and it's just like us been wanting to see Vader have his hack and slash moment. We got that. You know?
Well, but at the same time, it's not necessarily Luke Skywalker hack and slash.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like, but it is. It's Luke Skywalker in his prime, being a Jedi.
Yep.
Going and saving people. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it fits in so perfectly. And again, we'll talk more about this. I need to not get into all my stuff right now. But I have so many thoughts about this with all the controversy surrounding it on Star Wars Twitter right now. You know, like people are kind of, why'd they have to give him hack and slash action hero Luke? And I'm like, it's not action hero Luke. That's Jedi. That's a Jedi Luke. Yeah. Going to save a baby, right? Going to save a Force-sensitive child that he felt in the Force. Mm-hmm. And he's not going through there like being all flippy and stuff. He's just like doing what he needs to do, you know?
To get there. Yep.
He does do that real Anakin Skywalker move at the end and just crush that one droid, which was absolutely so good. Fantastic. The music and all of that was perfect. But then he gets there and he's just calm. He's like, it's time to go, you know? And I don't know. And also then I screamed probably louder than I've ever screamed in my entire life when R2-D2 came around him. I was like, R2! Sorry for all your ears there.
Amazing.
He's our background right now. Right here. Yep, so
he is.
But it's him meeting Grogu. But that has to be my best, is just that whole moment and everything tied to it for me, especially my parents being so enthralled. It was like one of the coolest moments in Star Wars since the reveal of Grogu, honestly, since the reveal of him in The Mandalorian, but also just since like it was one of the best. It felt like it was movie level.
Oh, dude, it was 100% movie level. Like everything
it was movie level reveal.
Oh, so good. And I'm surprised. And even Mark Hamill said on Twitter, it's like, we had this done for a year and we're shocked it didn't leak. I mean, look at that.
Wow. That is just. And I'm sorry, I think it looked fantastic. I think that's some of the best. Like it was to the point where I was like, who is that they've got prosthetics on? Or is that someone who looks really like him? Because it wasn't, I think, and honestly, the second time I watched it, kind of knowing what it looked more, my brain was more like, okay, that's Luke. Mm-hmm. It worked. But I think our brains aren't used to, wait, it's 2020. That's 1983, Mark Hamill, and he's in the credits. What? And I think that's what people are talking Uncanny Valley, because honestly, they didn't have him like, he wasn't chewing gum or anything, you know, like.
It was very stationary. It was good.
Yeah. It was I thought it was way better than Tarkin, even in Rogue One. So there's and maybe the Leia that's in there, but that's still pretty good. Anyway.
Well, okay, so that was best. Okay, and that was 10
best.
Minutes. Favorite.
Favorite. We'll try to keep it a little shorter, but there are moments. So favorite. I think I'm going to go with
yours. Can I guess yours real quick before you say it?
I think try, but again, it's sort
really,
of,
dude. For someone who loves Ahsoka so much, I was surprised you didn't say that off the bat. Because that.
Oh, dude. I love Ahsoka. But it's part of the connections to canon that we got in this.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. So give it to me.
I'm the canon junkie, dude. There's stuff all over. And again, I know like I don't prove it quite often enough on here. But like, dude, we're talking there were more Loth cats for one thing in the Ahsoka episode. That was great. You had the converie that was on the branch right before they found Ahsoka, or she found them. That's just in the Ahsoka episode. Then you got Bo-Katan, the Gazanti cruiser, the Imperial troop transport that they steal in I think episode 4, right? They drive off and they're like on it's the whole episode where he's back on Navarro and stuff, right? And so just like, and I mean it's different than a little bit in Rebels, but it's still just like all this stuff. Gosh, I don't know, like my most favorite one was that they pulled, and people are like, oh wow, they're pulling the characters from the cartoons. Not just that, they're pulling side characters from a side story. Oh yeah. Not part of the main novel.
So Cobb
from
Vanth,
Aftermath. Cobb Vanth, Cobb Vanth thirst is real. And I will say that I might include him later on here in a second too with another fella. Sure. But Scotty, that episode absolutely is rewatchable all the time. I love it to bits, man.
It's gonna be evergreen. It's so good,
dude. It's so good. It's so good, and I love Timothy Oliphant's performance there. It's not, and it's a little different than like the voice of who am I thinking that they came up with in the audiobook?
Thompson?
Mark Thompson, he did like a little deeper one, deeper.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it like that. I guess those of you who are last podcast on the left listeners, that's for you, Jared. That's for you. But his whole performance is that just being like this cocky, a little bit cocky, but still like honorable, like martial and stuff. That was the most Western Star Wars has ever been.
Heck yeah.
From the look of the town, it's a mining town, which that's a Western trope.
Yes.
You had him go into the saloon or the cantina, the bartender, who was a Weequay, who was freaking awesome.
I know.
I love that bartender. Like, oh, you mean the marshal?
He was he looks
for yourself.
He looks like a moron. It was great. He was like, marshal.
Oh, you mean the marshal? Don't you dare call him, I don't know what his name is yet, but don't you dare call him a moron, sir. He fought for his life, and he also fought, and I think the thing, he at least cheered at the end when the Zillow, it looked like a Zillow beast, but you know what I said, the crate dragon was killed. And how awesome that whole, but just all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, you've got that Freetown and Cobb Vanth pulled from canon, and I mean, just everything, dude. We saw so many canon ships in there that we haven't seen before. We've seen in live action. It's cool to see the things from animation and stuff in live action.
Oh wait, hold on.
Remember when they
Anakin's pod?
Oh, dude. And do you think a lot of people are like, it may not be? I'm like, look.
No, it is.
It's fine with me if it's like, that's not the galaxy is too small. That is Tatooine is small.
Yeah.
And he found that. And I'm like, that works for me. I'm like, please just let it. They don't have to be like, this belonged to Anakin Skywalker. He's just like, dude, it's just for us to go, wah! It's the same sound and everything. So that's headcanon for me that's his. Yes, but that and like the whole, seeing a Mandalorian shuttle that like in the last episode with Bo-Katan and then like when they land, it's just landed there. But seeing it sitting there, I was like, oh, I got excited just seeing that. I was like, there it is. And just that's a cool shot in and of itself. For one thing, they're on like, I guess, Factory Planet. And Factortopia. I don't know what it's called. Yeah, anyway. I could go on and on and on, but just seeing the Slave One lay on there. Oh! And also Boba in the episode we were talking about, the Quentin's episode, right? Right? Yeah. With inglorious illegitimate stormtroopers. When they're getting chased by the TIE fighters and they Boba releases. He releases the sonic charge. The seismic charge, excuse me. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. We all called it for one thing, but I guarantee we all freaked out. I watched it with my family, like actually at my mom and dad's house, and my sister and brother-in-law were there, because I was down south for the funeral of my grandmother, but I was standing up and I was going, oh, and they didn't know why I was freaking out. They thought that was cool, but they were like, what? I'm like, this is Attack of the Clones. It's a seismic charge. I love that. And it was, man.
Incredible.
So good. And all those, apparently there are people who said that was weak because that wasn't accurate because the whole planet would have been destroyed. Did you watch Attack of the Clones? He used one right next to a planet and it did get destroyed. You guys are just shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. So there. And that was probably 20 minutes.
It was actually 7 minutes. So,
new record.
Most fun.
It's a hard thing to pin down.
Because
I've been in my head trying to. I mean, Grogu. We are going to talk about Grogu. Here's my thing. Everything with Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett. And Boba had some of the greatest lines ever. I've never hated Boba Fett, but I've never been. He's the greatest Star Wars character ever.
Oh, now he is.
But I love him so much more than I ever thought I could now. Because he's got that honor back. Like, last time we saw him was Return of the Jedi, right? And he was like capturing Han Solo. And now we see him, and I honestly think he was never going to kill Grogu. I don't think he does that. I don't think he kills kids. That's just something I'm calling right now. I don't think he has it in him to kill kids. I think
of course.
I think he feels for orphans and stuff because he was orphaned as a kid. I don't know. I'm excited that we have Book of Boba Fett coming out, but just like everything, like from the line where he's like, let's just say they might recognize my face.
My face. Oh, such a good line.
To
Tatooine.
What was the
way man, Tatooine is so good.
Tatooine is so it's so good. But no, I think my favorite line though is when they go in to get Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks' character.
Yep.
And they're making fun of him for being a clone and say you're not a real Mandalorian. And when Bo-Katan is like, I've heard thousands of voices like yours before. I've heard your voice 1,000 times before. And that classic badass line, probably the most, honestly, I think it trumps I'll see you in hell for me right now is mine might be the last you'll ever hear. Oh my gosh! And then they start like going, and then who was it? It was Jared, the Dark Jedi, who brought up on our Collins show that only on this would you have Sasha Banks giving Boba Fett the suplex with a jetpack. It's so off the wall. That whole fight. There's so much in that episode, but that's just such a Boba Fett's character, and then of course the end where he goes in and takes out Bib Chunk Tuna and stuff is just fantastic. And he sits on the throne. So deserved.
That ties in perfectly into what we're going to do. Like before we kind of talk about Grogu, I want to bring up the Book of Boba Fett. What a great surprise, right? I mean, literally, we had been expecting to hear some sort of announcement of a Boba Fett show because it had been filming, from what we heard from Deadline.
Yeah.
And here we are, waiting, and literally first time ever Star Wars does it, post-credit scene. And honestly, if they keep doing it,
was so good.
I am going to be so happy because it's such a good nugget.
I'm so excited for the future of Star Wars right now, Scotty. The TV, like we were kind of like, oh, I hope they make movies and stuff. Yes, I do. But right now, like especially after, I'm sorry if you didn't like it. I'm sorry, I truly am. But after Luke showing up, I'm like, and it was Luke.
The potential is.
I'm like, you guys do whatever you want. I'm in.
This whole season's been just like taking your expectations of what could have been discussed and brought up, and just literally every episode's like, this is one bigger thing. You see the good side of the Empire, then you see the bad side of the Empire. You see the good side of the rebellion. You see the bad side of the rebellion. You see, what it's doing to certain areas. Then you get to see Ahsoka show up. Cobb Vanth. Literally, it's like they took everything we loved about Star Wars, and I said this on the podcast too. I said this on streaming Star Wars at Clayton Sandell. I said the best thing about The Mandalorian this season is it's not just prequel or OT or sequel trilogy. This show has managed to combine all of it into one giant cohesive story where you say, this is just Star Wars. And Clayton seems to love that line. And I'm like, that's going to be my mantra. You know, no more OT,
Absolutely.
no more PT, no more sequel trilogy. It is all just Star Wars. And this show single-handedly did it so well and so smooth. So I don't know. I think it's really important to bring up the glue that held this whole entire show together. And you know who I'm talking about, Jerry.
Who?
The biggest surprise in this world in the year 2019, our buddy, our sweet friend who got a name this season, and we haven't talked about it. That's why we're going GaGa for Grogu. Look, literally, GaGa for Grogu. We're referring to our good friend, the child, Baby Yoda, Grogu, the best thing.
Hey, sorry.
Ever. So I bring it up because
he's cold a little bit. I got to warm him up.
The name reveal was so perfect. Okay, the name reveal.
Oh my gosh!
Literally, you're like, are y'all speaking? And she's like, in a way. And then Ahsoka says, Grogu and I have been speaking. And I was like,
yeah. I know.
It was perfect. It was perfect.
And Grogu, huh? Oh, he likes his name being said. That name, Grogu'd on me. Ew, never mind. It grows on you because at first I was like, wait, what? It's hard going because for like a year now we've been Baby Yoda or the child with Baby Yoda to your family who aren't as into things, and the child with other people or just whoever. Everyone came up with their names.
Literally now it's like Grogu.
I think ours was Baby Loda for a little bit.
I think so.
But this is Grogu is just. It's just such
great name.
It's sweet. It is very Yoda-like without being yaddle. They could have easily went Yogu or something. Grogu.
Like, it flows. Oh, it's so good.
It's very like Space Elf.
Yeah, definitely. And I was thinking that the entire time. I think it's going to take a little bit to get into pop culture, but the second all the toys get renamed and all the marketing changes, and with an insane ending like we just got from Mandalorian season 2, I don't know. Grogu showing back up might be a little bit while before he does. So people are going to start wondering where's Grogu, and that's going to trend, and it's going to be a whole thing. And I don't know. What do you think the name came from? Because my brain instantly, probably where it went. My brain instantly went to George Lucas somehow. Right. Maybe he was on set and he was like, all right, Grogu, I like that. Kind of silly, kind of good. And apparently,
what if it's like someone accidentally called him Grogu? And that's great. You should call the baby that. And then Filoni was like, yeah, okay, yeah, anything you say, George. So
that's pretty good, Jerry.
Thank you.
But no, it's in all seriousness that name is so perfect. It is.
I honestly, I wouldn't discount that at all because it is pretty perfect. I don't know. It's very, very, very George-esque, right?
Yes.
Like it seems like something that he would say it probably Grogu.
Yeah.
That's how it's Grogu. Like a baby says Grogu, Gaga, Grogu.
It's Groogy.
Because he's Gungans. I noticed today that Natalie Portman says Gungans.
No way.
In Phantom Menace. She says Gungans, the Gungans, like that. And I'm like, oh, she was listening to George's direction. That's for sure. We've been saying it wrong all these years.
So what's interesting too, and it kind of dawned on me just while you were talking, because it's a really important thing to say, that Din and Grogu have always had a great relationship, but I think it's until he learned his name is when the relationship started to grow a lot more, right? So The rest after the Ahsoka episode, the rest of it was just about their relationship. Whereas the beginning of the season kind of took a little bit of a back burner for a second. But literally, here we are, and we've got a name for the character. And one of the most important things that gets brought up is not only does he have a name, but he has a past. And the reveal of his past, honestly, is one of the best things to come up in this whole season. Of course, people like you and I who are just true prequel lovers from the day one,
right?
Or literally, whenever Ahsoka's like he survives at the Jedi Temple. I mean, Jerry, that might have been as big of a reveal as the Luke Skywalker reveal. You're like, he was there? Who saved so many things? Just literally burst through your mind. Did Anakin miss him? Like, are we going to see that play out one day? Because that's totally not out there on possibilities. I mean, it's just so good. What do you think?
Akin to finding out that your pet could like talk and like has like human intelligence, and it's like you could have been helping pay rent this whole time. You could have gone out and got a job, and you're not. Like, not really. I mean, he is still a child and stuff, right? You know, because that's that species.
But no, I mean, that was also questioned this season, because literally, if he was trained by other Jedi masters, and when he's sitting on the Seeing Stone, he's literally like straight up like Zen.
She says he's hit his abilities over the years too, which we've still got a lot. Like, there's a lot to explore with him now. But I think one of the things for me, it was a little like it proved that Grogu wasn't a Mary Sue or a Gary Stew. Like, he wasn't a Grogu stew. But it kind of gave reason, because I think for a while we were all thinking, oh, Yoda's species must just be very force sensitive.
Yep.
And stuff. And I kind of like that it's not necessarily, I think they might be more sensitive to the force, but it might be kind of one of those things like the Chiss, you know, they have the force sensitives of their species, who they are the Skywalkers, you know, and this is like it's a more force sensitive species, but it's not all of them have the force. And could you, as we know, the force resides in all beings. So
yes.
There we go.
So you bring up a good point. You know, we've got this thing with Grogu's past, you know, and I wonder who he could have met. I mean, she straight up says many masters, right? And that one scene alone of them, and I think I might even have a picture of it pulled up. I can change my background to it. I know that.
It's so beautiful.
You can see it in the background. That moment was just incredible. You know,
can you put that up on the screen for a second?
It might take
get a full shot of it.
I can get some.
That's okay.
Second.
That's okay, because it's just it's such a great shot, and I don't know why that's not a t-shirt yet. It probably is, but like, just to see Ahsoka holding Grogu, holding the child, which is something a lot of people wanted, you know, for a while. It's a beautiful, beautiful moment, especially the way it's lit. It's in the evening, it's at night, right? And we've got the moon kind of over the trees. It's very fallish, even though, you know, we know that that the trees have been basically burned to crisps, or whatever. It's just that landscape is just, for one thing, again, not what we thought.
Oh no,
I think whenever she said the forest planet of Corvus,
so awesome.
Just not what we were thinking.
We didn't think of Bigfoot. Look, there it is. Just
look at that. That's like the mother and child painting and stuff.
It really
like
is.
Mary and baby Jesus almost.
But you know, you had to pinch yourself there for someone that's watched everything and taken in everything. Like,
it was hard to see these Clone Wars characters. Honestly, I'll tell you, it was hard to see them in live action, because there were moments where my brain was making it CG Clone Wars. Yeah. Especially with Bo-Katan and them with their like helmets on, and I'm like,
it'll look like Clone Wars. It was amazing.
It didn't compute. I was like, what am I watching? This isn't real. This can't be real.
And it was just so special to like have such a good payoff for everything we've always taken in. And Jerry and I will tell you, you know, Jerry said he started watching Clone Wars a little bit, you know, but after the acquisition of everything.
Well, no, I mean, it was actually I started watching back when it first started coming out. Man.
Oh, okay.
I caught a couple episodes. I remember the first episode I caught was it was the Dances with Wolves episode, basically, where the chairman of Pantora, they went to the snow planet, their moon, the snow moon, and the Talls. who are revealed to be like the natives of that planet and stuff. And it was a
Yes.
little like Dances with Wolves-y, where it's like, here are these like the white man coming to take the land of the people who they're the native people. They're the people who this land belongs to them, and they want peace. Then you got anyway. That was the first episode I saw, and that was on TV. It was on TV.
Dang.
I bought first season when it came out. Bought the second season when it came out. Went in with a friend and got the third season, fourth, fifth. I mean, I'm telling you. So
always been in the game. I've been in this game since 6 years old.
I'm old, but I was in college and I had all these buddies, and I was like, you've got to watch Clone Wars. So I was the guy I've always been obsessed is the thing, like I've never been against, I've always been like, oh, cartoons are great. It's fine. There was that like thing back in the day, like when I was younger where, and I didn't tell people very often, but I was like, cartoons are kind of good. I kind of like some of these cartoons, but you didn't tell that to people. Right. And I think that really kind of got some people like, I remember I watched every episode of Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. David, I know, is a big fan of that. I am too, honestly. I watched them and recorded them every week they came out. They came out every Friday for a while. Yeah. And I had a VHS, Scotty,
of all of them.
I recorded them all on. I got real good at pausing, making sure I got just the beginning.
Yeah.
And I covered that thing with like paper and tape and made my own cover. It's at my parents' house still. I'll have to like get them to send a picture of it to me or something, or send it to me, or bring it sometime. I haven't brought it back, but seriously, I'll have to share that on Twitter or something. But I'm telling you, I am OG, but I don't say that because like, oh, I'm better. I'm just saying that these it's just so awesome seeing this journey, right? And so we see Ahsoka, and that was after all of this stuff. We got off the topic there for a second. But to bring it back to Ahsoka and Grogu, and just Grogu in general, seeing this character who's the first character, it's honestly the first character, one of the first characters revealed in a Star Wars live action TV series, and one of the first characters introduced in a animated show, right? Of the like an actual show where the Genndy Tartakovsky, yes, you had characters on that, but that was like little bites and stuff. And then they strung them all together into a couple of movies, which was good. But Ahsoka was like one of the first big characters.
Oh yeah.
That we got in a Star Wars cartoon. And then now we've got that character meeting the first live action TV show character. That's huge.
And then meeting this. I mean, like, it's just
huge.
These connections were all made so smoothly. And I think an interesting thing that can get brought up about Grogu is that, it's been speculated and it's been stated that Grogu and Anakin are technically the same age. Anakin died 5 years prior, and he would have been 45. I mean, literally, if you look at it, so maybe this is the chosen one story, just a different balance of it. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. We've got so much that apparently is in the works. We got all these things that have been revealed too. We've got all these things that, we know the Ahsoka series is going to be a limited series, but I mean, who's to say we aren't going to get anything crazy on it?
Right.
We know where Ahsoka was during the Order 66, but some other Jedi could have been in different places. Quinlan Voss could have saved him. I mean, we don't know who's going to end up saving this child because someone had to, and then someone left him somewhere. And like they said, Grogu's mind goes dark, and maybe he did some bad stuff when he was real young, manipulating people, getting the things he wanted. I don't know. I think Grogu's story obviously is not over, and he might have left with Luke, but one of the best lines from that episode of Mando was, when his training is done, he can be on his own. I mean, Luke's something along the lines of that, and Din says, I'll see you again. So, I mean, who's to say?
Yeah.
He gets his own lightsaber in like 10 years and he's like, splitting from and doing stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm just going to say, I think he's coming back in next season, honestly.
Heck yeah.
Or we're at least going to see moments with him.
Oh yeah.
Throughout like maybe a couple episodes where it cuts back to him, like what he's doing with Luke. We may not get them back together. They may be setting something up where we don't get them back together until the big event that they're talking about.
Yep.
Which I am psyched for whatever that's going to be. Just think about the next 5 years, how much stuff we have coming out.
It'll be amazing. It's going to be great
spoiled.
to be able to do this.
We're absolutely spoiled.
I think the best way to round this conversation out is I know you have a point you want to make that a friend of yours stated, but I want to say one thing too.
I think you said it too before.
But no, this is a really, really good thing to bring up. The moment where they have that bond where Grogu and R2 seem to be conversing or maybe even sharing a moment, I think it's really important to state this because, I said it on our live show with Clayton, and I want to say it again. I think the biggest reason that Grogu went is because of the silver ball, right? And if you look at R2, the colors are the exact same. It's a blue thing on top with a silver dome around it. And literally he sees a giant version of that little object, and it's talking and it's interacting with him. It's just, I really do think that's what that was. And I don't know if you really think about it from a childlike perspective. I mean, that's what sold it. And one really important thing, I think people are underestimating it, is that moment between Grogu and Din is literally almost word for word feels like the Shmi and Anakin departure. It was huge. It was such a big moment for Anakin. This is obviously going to be a big moment for Grogu too. He may not be able to convey how he feels yet, but we know that he is obviously just so overwhelmed with having a chance to leave. He doesn't want to leave, and R2 is the thing that kind of pushes him over the edge. And I mean, I'll pull up the picture. One of the best shots from the whole series. If you would have showed me this shot at Celebration 2019, I wouldn't even know how to interpret it. It was this when they're in the elevator and they're leaving.
Oh man,
Jerry.
Thoughts? If you would have shown people, if you would have shown that at Celebration 2019, I think people would have been like, is that like an unused Return of the Jedi shot where Luke's holding like a Yoda doll or something? Like, what is...
No one would know. No one would know.
That's
what
like...
the show is done. This show has just taken everything we ever expected, subverting our expectations. Not really. We had no expectations. And they just literally were like, here's this, and you're going to love this part.
Subvert all the way. I don't want to know what you guys are doing. Surprise me.
Look who was back.
So good.
My best investment ever.
Boba's back and better than ever. And he has his own show, which is just like never knew I needed it in my life, right? And we're getting it at the same time as Mando season 3, which is confusing people. People are like, so is that the... No. It's two different things. See. It is two different things.
I'm sure we'll have answers in the near future. But Jerry, I want to know where you think this is all building up to, because I know you and I discussed it before we started recording, but it's an interesting thing to bring up.
I just wanted to shout out because I don't think me and you have talked about this, but you said you and Eric have before.
Eric and I have talked about it, yeah.
And we have all the pieces on the board. I'm going to call out my good friend Lucas, not that Lucas. Lucas Vanderveen. I work with him. How's it going, buddy? I don't know if you're listening or watching or whatever, but this was so good, and I didn't get to share it on that show last week, but I have to get it out because I'm like, I might actually love that. That might actually be cool. Look at all the pieces we have on the board right now because of Mando, because of where we are. We've got Ahsoka looking for Thrawn. We've got Luke Skywalker back, and he's got this new young Jedi with him. Din Djarin and the Mandalorians, which is like a new piece, is just fantastic. You've got all these different side characters just all over the universe now. We're seeding the universe with all of these really awesome, very nice and neat characters that would be interesting to have in a show or something together. And we've got more to come. Ahsoka's getting her own show. We've got Rangers of the New Republic. And Book of Boba Fett. Holy cow, am I ready for Book of Boba Fett. I just can't get over that shot of him on Jabba's throne. It's so incredible. And Fennec off to the side. It looks like the cover of a comic.
Oh yeah, it did.
Congrats to Ming-Na Wen for scoring that. She deserves it, man. She deserves it. She is fantastic. And Fennec's even going to be in Bad Batch. There's so much happening, Scotty.
There's so much. So wait, get
but
to
they
where
said,
you want to go.
yeah, well, so they said all of those were going to be in the same era. And I haven't heard the actual quote, Scotty, so I don't know if you can help me out with it, but it's that they are going to be basically leading up to a big event where I'm guessing it's like a crossover kind of show, kind of a thing.
Climactic event. That's how they determine
a climactic event.
Yes.
A climactic event. So we've got the Empire coming back. We've got all these different people. So we're going to have the New Republic side of it. We're going to have the Underworld side of it with Boba. Mm-hmm. We've got Din, who is now, I guess, just become a Mandalorian. He's just going to help probably retake Mandalore.
Ooh, we'll see.
And then we have the Jedi, Ahsoka, and Luke. Yep. And there's possibility of the big three coming back because, I mean, just look at that.
Think about it.
Maybe not like in full roles and stuff, but you never know where the
Falcon could come save the day.
Imagine
if the Falcon comes save the day at one point, and it's just,
oh my gosh,
you don't see Harrison and you don't see Chewbacca, but you definitely hear hey, we're coming.
You hear them over the comm,
yeah, and then flies up like. We could get that, and we just lose our minds, right? Or even, we could even get Chewbacca showing up without Han. Maybe Han had to go do something.
Oh man, give Jonas Suotamo a job. Please give him a job.
Potential is all there, way more than we expected.
There. Lando, all of this.
So Jerry, what do you think the title of this climactic event could be called? Because
thank you again to my friend. Thank you to they got Thrawn, they got Luke, we've got Mandalorians and everybody. Oh my. Shout out again to my friend Lucas Vanderveen, but he said this, and it was the first time I'd heard it that I went, that would be really cool. And it is, they're doing their version of Heir to the Empire.
I love it.
Which we've all, honestly, I do too, because people were like, why didn't they do that for the sequel trilogy? And it's because they wanted to do their own thing. I'm glad we have what we have there because it means a lot. It gives more importance to the stories. Before.
And Thrawn's not dead. They were never going to kill Thrawn. I mean,
no.
Come on. Thrawn is so important.
No, right. But this, honestly, I would love for it to be their Heir to the Empire and bring everyone in and like, there's this last thing. We got to get this remnant. Like Thrawn almost brings the remnant back. And I don't think it would be connected to the First Order at all.
No, but you remember the Grisk or they don't feel the Force just like you, John Bond don't.
Yeah.
Maybe bringing Isla Mari back, which is the thing that made a anti-force bubble around it. I mean, it's never been George, but it could be really interesting. Maybe they have a negative void of energy that takes the Force away from people.
I mean, I definitely want them to explore like the unknown regions, right? Like that is ripe for picking like just go out there and explore all that. These shows are perfect for that.
It's perfect for it.
Seriously, if that is and again, we don't want to build people's hopes up too much and stuff. We don't have any scoops or anything. And I was joking about being a scooper, but that would just be, I got that from Lucas himself. Lucas Vanderveen.
It could all be centered around this dude to a certain extent. Like this.
It could be him. Yes.
I'm just so elated to know that we're in this era now where everything's on the table and everything's off the table. Literally, it's like you go into these shows with somewhat of an expectation, and each episode and each moment, they might not always hit right. They might not always be grand slams, but there's always something to take away just from these episodes. And Jerry, I'm so happy to say that you and I could continue to talk about this stuff, for as long as we're doing this podcast and we're in this network. We have all these friends. It's just
we have more time to have a job doing this, right?
Yes.
We just got 5 more years of content plus a climactic event that's supposed to happen. I mean,
and I don't know. Disney decided to end the year 2020 with a bang, and I'm going to be honest with you. If we don't get Grogu next year, I'm not gonna be disappointed, but I'm gonna miss out my buddy. And we've grown.
We'll have to pull these out and snuggle them at night. Not too close, because you might poke your eye out.
It's just been such a special year. And 2019, the ending it with the Grogu, and then ending the season the way it did. I'm very happy. I don't think I've been this happy about Star Wars. You can acknowledge the discourse, and I respect an discourse. You got to bring it up sometimes.
Well, it's there. It's good to talk about. It's good for people because you may not want to get involved in it, but it makes you feel a certain way, right?
Oh, definitely.
I'm done. Go back to you. Back to you. I'm done.
But I want to say I just love the fact that we got such a special character, and we know his journey is not over. I told this to my buddy Kevin. I said, they're not going to ever kill Grogu. He's printable money. I mean, literally, like Disney's net. Like, it's like if you killed R2, 3PO, BB-8, Chewbacca. I mean, Jar Jar. I'm just kidding. All these things are
Han
printable
Solo,
money.
Luke Skywalker,
Veers,
Princess Leia. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm joking.
But in all seriousness, I'm very happy to know where we're at. And Jerry, what a special discussion. Jerry, do you have anything you want to kind of close out with before we end this?
Just like enjoy this moment right now, guys, because seriously, this is the best. This is the best we've had since I think we got the announcement that Disney bought Lucasfilm, right?
Yep.
To get that announcement of all the shows that are coming, to get like confirmation of the new movies that are coming out. We didn't even get to talk about that. Like we're gonna have to have an episode sometime, Scotty, where we kind of break that stuff down. Like,
hell yeah.
But there's so much, and I know like we can't please everybody, and I truly am sorry if you've kind of been disappointed with stuff lately, because that's not a fun place to be. So that our hearts truly go out to you. We truly want you. Just don't be a dick. But just don't be a dick on Twitter about it. You can complain if you need to. Get it out. Find your circle. But I truly hope
anyone to agree with you.
Well, right, but the horizon is bright. Look at all the stuff. There's so many things coming out that you'll have.
Jerry,
it's
might
not
be something
done.
that comes out that might piss us off, and we might
become part of the fandom menace at that point. Oops, I named they who should not be named.
You did.
Sorry.
No, I mean, literally, we might honestly get something one day where we're just we didn't feel with it, and it would be the first time, and it probably won't happen for me because I'm very open-minded. But I will say this, and
if we hate Star Wars, it's got to be really, really bad.
It's going to be really bad. It's going to be
really bad.
But even I love Forces of Destiny, and that was like the driest.
Forces of Destiny is incredible. Sorry, that's all I was going to say. Like I was so sad when that got canceled. We saw Hera Syndulla and Han Solo.
Yep.
In an episode together. That was badass, dude.
Yeah, that was badass. But with that being said, if you enjoyed today, all right, and if you love Bombadcast and you want to get more of us, you can find all of us here at the Beyond the Blasters Network. You can go back and listen to all the things on the podcast feed. We've got some great episodes. Our most recent one with Eric Cotterman about the Lucasfilm acquisition, kind of a retrospective, was a great episode. We love talking about that. We talked about it for 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I think
that was a lot of fun.
That was a good one. And it kind of had a lot of realizations.
I love
there.
Eric.
And we need to subscribe. Please subscribe. All right.
Subscribe.
Like. Yes. Share. Give us 5 stars on iTunes.
5 stars.
There we go.
Less is a dick move.
Review us on iTunes. Please, if you really liked it, patreon.com. It's where you can find us. Patreon.com/Beyond the Blast Doors. You can be a member and you can get all kinds of exclusive content. And if you want to keep with us online, go to beyondtheblastdoors.com. Don't forget to follow us at Bombadcast on Twitter. If you want to call us, leave us a message. It is 331-2BEYOND. That's 331-223-9663. Jerry, what should the wonderful listeners do?
They should stay Bombad.
producer, or bombast.